Have you been denied or cut off from long-term disability? Ask a Lawyer is here for you. Each week, experts from DisabilityRights.ca answer your questions. Visit cp24.com/askalawyer and watch Mondays at 9 p.m. on CP24.
Well, hello there, and welcome to another edition of Ask a Lawyer Disability Law. This is CP24. My name's John Scholes. I've got the easy job of being the host for the next 30 minutes. Joining us momentarily will be Sivan Tamarkin from DisabilityRights.ca. I want to remind you right off the top, always reach out to Sivan, no problem. A phone call works. How about that? 1-855-821-5900 anytime. Ask at DisabilityRights.ca. Consultation's always free, so have no fear. Pick up a phone. If it's just a conversation, that's okay as well. We try to cover as much ground as we can every week on the show. Disability law, it is murky waters for those who are not in the know. That's why we strive to educate you over the next half hour. Main topic, which you always have later in later in the show rather. This week it'll be the top 5 reasons to seek out the correct disability lawyer. That is huge information. That is coming up. We'll get some phone calls from our radio show and a whole bunch of other stuff. But Sivan, as we always start every show with the week that was, our case of the day, get us warmed up. What do you got going on today, pal?
John, it's good to be here with you and with our viewers. I'm a disability lawyer, and of course I have people that call me all the time and email me about their disability issues. Let me tell you about one interesting call that I got this week, and it was from a husband of a lady. So he was calling on her behalf. She's 39 years old. She's a teacher here in the GTA, and she has been off work for quite a while for psychological issues, major depressive disorder, anxiety. There's a whole slew of issues, and a lot of them have to do with personal things that have happened to her in her life fairly recently. And she's been diagnosed by a psychiatrist, she's taking medications, etc. She was denied long-term disability by her insurance company for having insufficient medical proof, insufficient medical documentation that prove, allegedly according to what they say, that prove that she's disabled. They're saying you're not disabled according to our policy. And of course, they invited her to appeal that decision. She appeals that decision. She gets all the information from her psychiatrist, from her family doctor, everyone that's training her. And of course, they come back and saying, we're denying you again. But guess what? You can appeal that denial, that second denial. And so she does that as well. And just last week, she received the second appeal denial. And she's given up. She basically said, there's no point. If they've denied me now 3 times, the original time and 2 appeals, there's no point. I can't do anything. It is what it is. Doesn't know what to do. And of course, that creates tremendous stress and frustration within their family. And her husband, who has been watching our show, decided to call me up and have a chat with me. And I said, okay, well, I'll speak with you and I'll speak with your wife. And I reviewed the documentation. And John, I can tell you right now, unequivocally, she absolutely should not have been denied long-term disability. The insurance company is 100% wrong. And what I explained to them is that, look, let me deal with this now. Don't worry about it. You focus on your health. Let me push back against the insurance company. There are legal tools at my disposal, my team. We know how to handle these insurance companies. I'm going to get this resolved in no time. And John, what was interesting, and this happens a lot when I speak with individuals, either in person or by Zoom or by phone, is when I tell them not only that I can help them and make sure they get paid what they're supposed to get paid, but what really affects them is when I tell them, you don't have to deal with the insurance company anymore directly. I'll take over that. My team will take over all the communications with this insurance company. The relief that you sense from individuals who are listening to that and who understands that now they can focus on their own health, just like this lady, I'm telling you, that alone is worth gold. And so I'm going to help this couple. I'm going to help this lady. I'm going to get her the long-term disability payments that she's entitled to. This insurance company is going to reverse course in no time, not even a question.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. I want to make you aware of that time. Keep that in your brain. That's when we do our radio show, Savannah and I, and a host of other lawyers at the firm. Saturdays, 1 p.m. News Talk 1010 right here, our sister station to CP24. It's an hour-long show. Get a lot of interesting questions come through the show every week. I want to start at least talking about it with this phone call, Savannah. So listen up and we'll dissect a little bit. Here you go.
My brother was in an accident. He has been disabled permanently. He's had some time off, but the long-term disability program that he had with his benefits, it was covering him while they were there. They've cut him off, and now the company has brought him in, and they had a sit down, and they've offered him 17 weeks severance, and they said that they are not going to be hiring him back.
John, how common is that? I've told you many times that we get people calling us and contacting us, not only for disability claims, but for employment-related issues. Oftentimes, people who go on long-term disability, who are disabled, who are not able to work, and get cut off or get denied long-term disability, also at the same time, are getting pushback from the companies that are employing them, their employers. And what people need to understand is that our firm, our law firm, is very unique in that we help people both with their disability claims and their employment claims. So when you feel like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, we're the ones you have to talk to because we can push back. Now, an employer is not allowed to let you go, to dismiss you while you're disabled. That's in contravention of the Human Rights Code in Ontario. That's illegal, and we can do something about that. At the same time, this gentleman is mentioning that his brother was cut off long-term disability by the disability provider. Again, if he's permanently disabled, if he cannot work, there is no reason why the insurance company cut him off. Again, we can help him with both aspects of the case, and what you need to understand is that when you contact us, if we don't have the answer, we know somebody at the firm who does, and we can help you on both fronts. And it's important to understand that because when you have a disability issue and when you have an employment issue, those two areas of laws can intersect and can affect each other, which is why it's so crucial to speak with us because we have that dual expertise on both ends. So really terrible situation, but we can help this gentleman both with his employment issue and his disability issue. He won't have to worry about that. We're going to be able to help him.
Talk about stressful. Like
Extremely.
the double-edged sword. He's been let go and he's lost his disability coverage. That's crazy.
John, people feel like the world is crumbling. They feel like they can't do anything. They feel powerless. No. It's an illusion. It's in their mind. And the reason I say that is because nobody's above the law. Many employers, many companies think that they can just do whatever they want with disabled individuals. They can't. The law does not allow employers to go above the law, to break the law. And in this case, because they've let him go and he's disabled, they now breach the law. At the same time, again, insurance companies think that they can get away with this kind of stuff. And they can only get away with it if you don't stand up for your rights, if you don't seek legal help. And one of the things I tell people, and this is true and it's constant, is that it doesn't cost anything to talk to us about your disability issues. You have an issue with your long-term disability insurance company, you've been denied, the insurance company is doing something to you that seems unfair, give us a call or email us. It doesn't cost anything to talk to me or any one of the lawyers on my team. We'll be able to help you, answer all your questions, and empower you so that you understand that you have the ability to affect your future.
Let's get into a short break, Savan. Lots more to go. Our main topic, top 5 reasons why you should call the right disability lawyer. That's on the other side. Stick with us. Lots more Ask a Lawyer Disability Law coming right up here on CP24.
Do you have questions about your employment law rights? Ask a Lawyer is here for you. Each week, experts from employmentlawyer.ca answer your questions. Visit cp24.com/askalawyer and watch Wednesdays at 9 p.m. on CP24.
Welcome back to Ask a Lawyer Disability Law on CP24. John Scholes here along Savan Tamarkin from DisabilityRights.ca. Ask at DisabilityRights.ca anytime through email. The phone call also counts. Go for it right there, 1-855-821-5900. Consultations are free. And always reach out to Savan because those scary waters of dealing with a disability lawyer and disability firm, rather, an insurance company can be really, really scary. But that's the purpose of the show, to enlighten you and educate you every week. And we always have a main topic. Again, same thing. It might be an oh wow moment when we talk about these things. For this week, Savannah, it is the top 5 reasons you should call the right disability lawyer. This is not a shameless plug for Savannah. He'll be the first one to tell you that. It's lawyers overall. If you're going to seek a disability lawyer, you've got to know these things. And right off the top, Savannah, hit you with the big one. They will handle all communications with the insurance adjuster so you don't have to deal with them directly. That will give you some mental and physical peace as well, right?
John, one of the biggest complaints I get from people is they tell me that dealing with their adjuster or their case manager at the insurance company is extremely stressful. Every time they get that phone call, that email, that letter in the mail, their blood pressure just jumps up. They can't eat, they can't sleep. It's just tremendously stressful. A lot of anxiety surrounding that, and that creates a lot of really difficulties within the family as well, especially if there are kids, etc. And so one of the things that we do, and this is on any case, is when we get involved, we take over all communications. The insurance company knows that when we represent the individual, they can no longer communicate with that person or their family. They have to go through us. So imagine you're in a situation where you can focus just on your health, just on your treatments, just on getting better. And we are the ones who are now applying the pressure on the insurance company. I mean, talk about relief right there psychologically. That's something that is, again, on every case. And I have heard situations where people have come to me who said, you talk about that on the radio and on TV, and yet my lawyer doesn't do that. He lets the adjuster just communicate with me. And I'm beside myself because I would never allow an insurance company to communicate with my clients directly. Never. They have to go through me.
The second point toward choosing the right disability lawyer, Savannah, is they will ensure the insurance company pays you what you are owed. That's where the money is, right? That's key.
What you are owed, and that's the key thing. Now, I go back a couple of decades when I used to work for insurance companies all those years ago, and I can tell you, one of the things insurance companies do really, really well is they deny claims. And when they finally do pay them, they try to pay as little as possible. If they can pay 10 cents on the dollar, if they can pay 5 cents on the dollar, they are extremely happy because that money goes to them, their shareholders, etc. If you don't get the right lawyer, you are at risk of leaving money on the table. It's just as simple as that. It's like anything else. If you don't have the right accountant, if you don't have the right doctor, if you don't have the right any professional, you are at risk of not getting the quality that you are seeking for whatever service it is. It's the same thing with lawyers. If you don't get the right disability lawyer, the insurance company, by the way, they know who the lawyers are. They know who the heavy hitters are. Just like, again, when I used to work for insurance companies all those years ago, I would know which lawyers I could deal with, which lawyers I could muscle through, which lawyers I could intimidate. But I also knew which lawyers got every single dollar for their clients. And that's what we do at our firm. Not just me, my entire team. We go after every dollar for our clients.
A good disability law firm will also do this. Savannah, number 3 is they will protect you from unfair tactics, delays, even bullying by the insurance company. That's a little disheartening, bullying by the insurance company.
It happens often. It happens often because insurance companies, case managers, defense lawyers, they know that people are easily intimidated and bullied, especially people who are disabled, people who are psychologically in a very vulnerable state, physically in a very vulnerable state. Insurance companies do not care. Now, some adjusters, I can say this, John, I can't paint all of them with the same brush. Some adjusters are good people, but they have a master that they have to answer to, and that's the insurance company, their employer. And they will use certain tactics, and some of these tactics are simply not kosher. They're not right. They cannot do that. And so we stand in the way when that happens. We make sure we push back. Some things insurance companies are entitled to, some things are not. We know how to distinguish them, and we know when to say yes and when to say no.
Our fourth point about choosing the correct disability lawyer, and we kind of went back on this when we were talking about that phone call. They'll help you navigate related employment issues because there's a lot of interplay, as you say, between the two.
That's very, very important. And again, a lot of people that call us, contact us about their disability issues. They've been cut off or denied by their long-term disability insurance company. They also have issues with their employers. By the way, there are some cases where it's the employer who's the one that's paying short-term or long-term disability. And now there is an intertwining, these two issues, employment issues at play and disability issues at play. And so because we have that dual expertise in our firm, we have lawyers who specialize, who have a focus on employment law and on disability law, and some who are hybrid lawyers as well. We have that kind of, double impact that we can really help people, and we can really give them all the advice that they need, the rounded advice to protect them from their employers and from the insurance companies.
The last point we'll make, Savannah, again, top 5 reasons why you need to contact and work with the right disability lawyer. They'll guide you through the claims process so you can understand your rights and are fully supported. Because quite frankly, it's people don't want to learn. They don't want to read that. That's your job, and we need help with it, right?
One word, John, communication.
Yep.
Communication. How many listeners and viewers here are going to look at me here and going to say, I had this experience with this one lawyer, whether it was a disability lawyer or injury lawyer, family lawyer, real estate lawyer, and what was lacking was communication. That is the number one complaint that we know about with lawyers. The lawyers get complaints of Law Society about. And this is key. We make sure we explain the process to individuals, whether it's on the employment side or on the disability side. We make sure they understand what their rights are. We keep you informed. We make sure that you understand exactly what is coming up next, how to prepare for certain things that happen on your case. And the reality is people have different needs. People need different explanations. Some people need more hand-holding than others. That's okay, nothing wrong with that. So communication is key, and we really endeavor to do that. And if you have a lawyer that doesn't do that, that is a problem, because that's going to create more anxiety and potentially things will fall through the cracks.
Let's take another short pause here, Sivan. Lots more coming up, so stay with us as we continue Ask a Lawyer Disability Law on CP24.
Have you been denied or cut off from long-term disability? Ask a Lawyer is here for you. Each week, experts from DisabilityRights.ca answer your questions. Visit cp24.com/askalawyer and watch Mondays at 9 p.m. on CP24.
You are watching Ask a Lawyer Disability Law on CP24. John Scholes here, Sivan Tamarkin as well. Always available for you to reach out to. I'll give you a couple different ways. First, that phone call. It's always a free consultation as well. The number, 1-855-821-5900 right there. Ask at DisabilityRights.ca or scan that little QR code in the top right while you can with your phone and carry on from there. We got a ton of questions every week, Sivan. They're all over the place, email and otherwise. Got this one in audio, so we're going to play it back for you because it works well on TV if we can listen to it and talk about it. Here's the first of these two questions coming up. Sivan, listen up.
How long do you have to start a legal claim after being cut off LTD? And does appealing the cutoff affect that deadline?
The appeal word. Look out.
Excellent questions.
Yep.
Excellent, because there's a lot of misinformation about this, and I've even seen websites of lawyers who purport to do disability law who give incorrect information. In Ontario, you have 2 years from the date of your first denial to start a claim, a legal claim against the insurance company. Now, the second question was, does the appeal, if you appeal that and get denied again, does that reset the clock? It does not. Now, here's the thing. There are always exceptions to the rule.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be in one of those exceptions, it's going to be a harder fight, and you don't want to be in one of those exceptions. So assume, for the sake of what we're talking about, that if you were denied short or long-term disability, you have 2 years from the date of that first denial. But here's something to consider, John. Sometimes it's not clear-cut if you've been denied. Sometimes the insurance company says, we can't approve you yet, but we need more medical documentation. Again, this is one of those cases where you can have a gray area. Was it denial or was it not? You know what the answer is? The answer is, give us a call, let us see the document, let us tell you for free if this was a denial or not. And sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Better be safe than sorry. And again, I keep stressing this, because people have nothing to lose. If you call us or email us and speak to anyone on my team or myself, we'll be able to advise you, and we can tell you what your rights are, how much time do you have, what needs to be done, and then you can make an informed decision as to how you want to proceed. But the general rule, you have 2 years from the date of your first denial to start a legal claim.
Love that first question. Let's get to number 2 for the show tonight. Sivan, listen up.
Can my insurer cut off my LTD if I don't get approved for CPP disability?
Great question.
Can they?
Yeah.
They can. They can cut off your disability for any number of reasons. Doesn't mean that they're right to do so, and we can go after them if they do. Now, I want to distinguish between 2 scenarios, John. One, when somebody is told to apply for CPP disability and they don't, and when somebody applies and gets denied, can the insurance company cut them off? Well, look, not getting CPP disability is not a reason for the insurance company to cut you off, or let's say it's not a valid reason. And if they do that, we can challenge them, we can fight them, we can force them to reverse course, pay you what you're owed. If they tell you to apply for CPP disability and you don't, what they'll typically do is they'll guesstimate how much it is that you are potentially entitled to from CPP disability, and then reduce your long-term disability amount accordingly. Again, this is something that's standard, and there's a whole other segment information that we can provide, John, about why people, I think, should be applying for CPP disability if they are disabled. But the answer to this question, can the insurance company cut you off? They can, but they should not.
Yeah.
They should not. That said, if they cut you off or deny your claim for any reason, long-term disability, you call us. You call us so we can advise you, review the documents, again, at no cost, and tell you what your options are.
Again, a couple of great questions. Really appreciate those every week. We'll take a short break, bounce back with an email. That's on the way shortly as we continue more Ask a Lawyer Disability Law on CP24.
Have you've been denied or cut off from long-term disability? Ask a Lawyer is here for you. Each week, experts from DisabilityRights.ca answer your questions. Visit cp24.com/askalawyer and watch Mondays at 9 p.m. on CP24.
Back, Ask a Lawyer, Disability Law, CP24. I will quickly give you the content information again before we get into our final piece of content. The email, 1-855-821-5900. Free consultations, that's the number. And there's the email address, ask@disabilityrights.ca. Sivan, let's get into this to wrap up the show. Here's the email for this week. It says, my partner who has arthritis, depression, and fibromyalgia had her LTD cut off after 2 years, even though her doctors say she can't work. Should you contact the adjuster on our behalf? It's been very stressful. What do you think, pal?
Absolutely, 100%. Let us take over this and deal with the adjuster and the insurance company. And John, the fact that this person was cut off after 2 years, that's something we see quite often. Why? Because then the test for getting long-term disability changes, right? We talked about this a lot, but the fact that insurance companies often cut people off long-term disability in and around that 2-year mark, just before or just after. There are ways to deal with the insurance company to push back. Now, if the doctors are saying that she cannot work, the insurance company must continue to pay. There's no ifs or buts about this, and this is something that we deal with each and every day, and we help people deal with those insurance companies, push back on them, and make sure that these insurance companies pay these individuals who are disabled what they're owed.
It's not like we might listen to your doctor. They got to do it.
They got to do it. They got to, but people don't understand that. They think that they have no options. They have, they think that they can't do anything. Yes, you can. Yes, you have options. We can help you.
All right, that is it for this week. Thank you so much for contributing to the show, or at least watching this week. You can always reach out to Sivan and his crew now that we're done. That free consultation, there's the number, 1-855-821-5900. Email as well, ask@disabilityrights.ca, or the website simply disabilityrights.ca. And for more information and listening to us for an hour each week, right here locally in the GTA, News Talk 1010, Saturdays, 1 p.m. And finally, cp24.com/askalawyer, and we'll take care of you from there as well. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you again next week, right here, Ask a Lawyer on Disability Law on CP24.